Hello and welcome to Gardening at 58 North. In this video I'm going to be doing an update on my Penjing here, and I'm going to be doing a bit of pruning as well. So in the last video I showed you it was just starting to recover from its drought. Had a real issue with drought because basically I was away for a while, I wasn't able to water it and it almost died. But it's responded really well and I trimmed it a little bit then and it just needs a bit more pruning now. But this video I'm going to do a very drastic prune. So as you can see, if I turn this around, I think it's easier to see some of the branch structure from this side. We've got a lot of growth up the top here. It's really sprouted quite nicely from there. And there's a bit of growth at the bottom, but otherwise it's very bare in the middle stem. And also because the effect I'm going for is kind of like an ancient tree over a rock, I'm not really wanting this very long straight stem without any taper. So what I'm going to do is actually cut this really drastically off right here. And that way I can retrain it into a much better shape, because a dead straight stem like that isn't very realistic in the wild, to be honest. You don't see that very often in nature unless it's maybe a plantation of conifer trees. Certainly not with like an ancient ficus, which is what I'm hoping this will look like. But you can see the lower half of the stem is not bad, it's not perfectly straight, it's got a nice kind of curve to it. And if I cut it off here, I can then retrain all of these branches into a much nicer kind of shape. So it's going to be quite a drastic cut. So what I've done is I've not watered this for a while, because I find if Ficus, any other tropical figs basically, is well watered, this one's a Ficus Benjamina, if it's well watered it does produce a lot of sap, and so it bleeds profusely if it's been well watered when you cut it, especially with these larger cuts that I'm going to do today. And so I'm also going to put something down just because it's going to drip quite a lot everywhere. So I've got my secateurs. Fortunately they're not the sharpest, but it should do for the job. And I'm just going to cut it off at this section here, and that, as I say, will give that nice section there a lot more energy, a lot more growth, and I can retrain this into a nice bonsai shape. Whereas this section I'll probably put it into water and maybe make a cutting out of it. So there we are. That's it cut off there. As I say, I'll make a cutting out of this one. It's a very odd shape. I suppose if you planted it upright with the cutting, it would be nice weeping branches. You can kind of see there, it's got a nice kind of weeping shape. It could make a nice cutting. So I'll put that in water and I'll decide what to do with that later on. Whereas here's the what's left of the main one. I'll just readjust the camera now so you can get a better view of what the branch structure looks like. So here we are, view from the above. As you can see, the branch structure here, it's really a bit too big at the moment and it's not branching quite enough, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of pruning. But it's already, I think, looking a lot better than it was before. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get my scissors and I'm just going to shorten some of these branches to encourage them to sprout some more side branches on them. So this one here, I'm going to cut back actually to the first bud, because this is quite a low branch and I'm not wanting much growth from that, so it will just be producing one more shoot. This one here, I'm actually quite happy with it. I'm just going to cut it back probably about there. This top one could make a nice leader, but I'm still wanting a bit more branching, so I'll probably give this top one quite a hard cut. And the side one here, I'm just going to leave for now, see if it'll branch naturally by itself. If not, then I'll maybe do a bit of trimming. I think that's a nice structure already. You can see it comes up, there's a branch coming off the side, branch coming off here. Hopefully with this hard pruning it may even encourage some of the other branches, which or some of the buds, should I say, which are dormant, to burst and become a branch. So as you can see there, it's already a much nicer shape, much more like a realistic kind of tree. So as you can see, that's a much better proportion to the size of the Penjing tub and to the size of the tree. It's looking much better already. So I'm quite happy with this branch structure. I don't think I need to wire it up yet. The ones that are already quite stiff are actually a decent shape. The ones that are loose, they're not quite long enough yet to wire, so I'm going to wire them up later. But I'm definitely wanting some more growth over here. I want it to really kind of come over a bit more. These I may kind of bend down a bit, because I'm wanting it to grow up and then kind of weep down like a big old Ficus Benjamina would do. So that's what I'm going to do for now. So what's going to happen now, as I say, because I've cut so much off, it's going to put a lot more energy into this lower section. Hopefully some of these lower dormant buds will burst. I'll get some extra branches to work with and decide which ones are the best for training into a nice shape. What I'm also going to do is, once it's grown a lot of new branches, I'll then be able to train them in, prune off some of them, choose which ones I want, choose which ones I don't. If any of that are too leggy, I can encourage them to branch further, and I can also train any other ones in with wires, hopefully. But what I'll do after that is I'm going to reduce some of the vigour from the roots. So what I wanted is a nice appearance at the front here, because you can see it'll be nice to have some roots coming over the rock. Unfortunately, what's happened is most of the roots have actually grown on the back. So you can see there's a lot of very big, strong roots there, which do look quite nice, but all the energy is going to them, and the ones at the front are going to die off eventually. So what I'll do is I'll cut these ones off below ground level. That way you'll still be able to see these roots, and they'll still look quite nice. That will reduce the vigour from these, and they'll just produce new, smaller roots down where I've cut them. But what it will do is it will encourage these roots at the front to really thicken up and grow better, and hopefully I'll get a nicer overall kind of shape to the root structure. So that's all for now in this video. I'll give you guys an update probably in a few months' time. Everything's going to be a bit slower now because it's winter time, and here in Scotland we don't get much daylight, so there's not going to be a lot of growth from this because of that. But we'll see how it does, and I'll give you guys an update in a few months' time.